Imagine a mind so focused, so determined, that obstacles shrink and opportunities expand before it. A mind that does not merely follow the current, but shapes it, guiding others with vision and purpose. Today you will learn the secret that separates those who lead from those who merely work, an understanding that the power to succeed lies not in circumstances, but in the decisions you make, the thoughts you nurture, and the actions you take. Leaders do not wait for luck. They create it. They see potential where others see impossibility. And today, you stand at the threshold of that same mastery, ready to awaken the leader within, to think not as a follower, but as a creator, a visionary, a force that shapes the world around you. A leader's mind operates in a way that is fundamentally different from the average worker. While many people move through life reacting to circumstances, focusing on problems and difficulties, the leader sees beyond what is immediately visible. They recognize that the world is filled with challenges, yes, but challenges are not barriers. They are gateways, invitations to discover potential and opportunities to achieve something greater. When others pause at the first sign of difficulty, a leader pauses only to measure the direction and the distance before taking deliberate action. Obstacles do not intimidate them. Rather, obstacles sharpen their focus, ignite their creativity, and demand that they elevate their thinking. This is not a skill that is inherited. It is cultivated through persistent effort, disciplined thinking, and the refusal to accept limitation as reality. Leaders train themselves to look beyond what the senses perceive and to consider what could be. A blocked road is not simply an impediment. It is a chance to find a new path, a better approach, or an innovative solution. Where the worker may complain about the difficulty or dwell on the unfairness of circumstances, the leader asks, "What is the lesson here? How can this situation be turned to advantage?" Their attention is never fixed on the wall of limitation, but on the door that may be hidden within it. This kind of thinking requires courage because it means rejecting the conventional view, questioning assumptions, and daring to imagine what others have dismissed. Leaders understand that the world is not a place of fixed outcomes, but of possibilities waiting to be uncovered, shaped, and acted upon. The difference in mindset is also reflected in the way leaders approach risk. A worker often sees risk as something to avoid, a reason to play it safe, or a justification for maintaining the status quo. A leader sees risk as a necessary companion of opportunity. They understand that behind every apparent failure or setback lies a hidden advantage for those willing to engage with it creatively and persistently. This is why leaders are never paralyzed by fear. Their focus is on what can be done rather than on what might go wrong. They study, plan, and prepare, but they do not allow hesitation to steal their momentum. In fact, the presence of obstacles often motivates them to think even more deeply, to strategize more cleverly, and to act more decisively. A leader's vision is another aspect that separates their thinking. While many are content to accept life as it is presented, leaders envision life as it could be. They see possibilities where others see impossibilities. They notice gaps where improvement is needed and perceive ways to create value that others have overlooked. This ability to see opportunity is not merely a matter of luck or innate talent. It is a trained skill developed by consistently asking questions, seeking knowledge, and learning from experience. Leaders do not passively wait for opportunities to appear. They cultivate them, they anticipate them, and they recognize them immediately when they arise. Moreover, leaders possess a resilience that amplifies their capacity to see opportunity and challenge. While obstacles may frustrate or discourage most people, a leader uses them as fuel. Each difficulty becomes a test of ingenuity and determination. They understand that failure is not final, that mistakes are not disasters, and that each setback carries with it the seeds of advancement. They approach problems not as permanent limitations, but as temporary conditions that demand innovative responses. This mindset transforms every challenge into a potential breakthrough, and every barrier into a stepping stone toward progress. A leader's thinking also radiates influence. When they approach obstacles with creativity, courage, and determination, others begin to see possibility as well. Their perspective creates a ripple effect, inspiring teams and communities to think differently, to innovate, and to push beyond perceived limits. The ability to see opportunity where others see obstacles is contagious, and it distinguishes those who shape outcomes from those who are merely shaped by them. In the daily practice of leadership, thinking differently is never accidental. It requires constant reflection, deliberate attention to one's mental habits, and a conscious effort to look for the hidden value in every situation. Leaders challenge their own assumptions, question conventional wisdom, and remain open to new ideas. They understand that the most remarkable achievements often arise from circumstances that initially appear most challenging. By choosing to focus on what is possible rather than what is problematic, they cultivate a mindset that turns even the most daunting obstacles into vehicles of growth, innovation, and lasting success. Every great achievement begins with clarity of purpose. Without a definite aim, the mind wanders, distracted by trivialities, doubts, and the endless pull of circumstances. Leaders understand this fundamental truth. A clear purpose is not merely a goal, but the foundation upon which all action is built. It provides direction when the path seems uncertain, strength when challenges threaten to overwhelm, and a compass to guide decisions when choices multiply and complexity increases. The mind of a leader is disciplined in focus, constantly returning to that central purpose and filtering every thought, decision, and action through its lens. This is the secret that distinguishes those who achieve extraordinary success from those who drift aimlessly, reacting to the whims of the world rather than shaping it. Definiteness of decision is the natural companion of a clear purpose. A mind that is undecided is a mind in conflict with itself. Doubt, hesitation, and procrastination sap energy, confuse judgment, and erode confidence. Leaders recognize that indecision is a luxury that cannot be afforded. Every moment spent wavering is a moment lost, and in the world of achievement, time is the most valuable currency. When a leader commits to a course of action, they do so with conviction, understanding that the act of deciding clarifies thought, directs effort, and channels resources efficiently. Decision is not a gamble. It is a declaration of intent, a statement to the universe that the mind is focused and prepared to act. The power of purpose and decisiveness. It also shapes the emotional landscape of a leader. Clarity of purpose instills courage, because the mind knows precisely what it seeks and why. It silences the noise of fear and doubt that often accompanies uncertainty. When the path is clear, obstacles no longer appear insurmountable. They become steps in the journey, challenges to be navigated rather than reasons to retreat. Similarly, the act of making definite decisions empowers the leader to take responsibility for outcomes, both favorable and adverse. This ownership of choice nurtures resilience, for the mind that has chosen its direction is not shaken by setbacks. Failure is reframed as feedback, a signal that adjustments are needed rather than proof of inadequacy. Leaders also recognize that a definite purpose and clear decisions influence the people around them. A mind that is committed radiates confidence, inspiring trust and motivating others to align with the vision. Teams, organizations, and communities naturally gravitate toward clarity. Uncertainty breeds confusion. Hesitation breeds stagnation. The leader, through the force of their decisiveness and clarity of aim, becomes a stabilizing presence, someone whose conviction transforms possibility into reality. Their actions set a rhythm for others to follow, demonstrating that success is rarely accidental and almost never passive. It is the product of deliberate, purposeful thought converted into deliberate, purposeful action. The development of a clear purpose is not instantaneous. It requires introspection, self-awareness, and an unflinching assessment of one's values, passions, and unique abilities. Leaders spend time understanding what truly matters, distinguishing fleeting desires from enduring priorities. They evaluate opportunities not only for immediate gain, but for alignment with their long-term vision. Every choice is tested against a standard. D of purpose, ensuring that energy is invested in efforts that produce meaningful results rather than wasted on distractions or trivialities. This disciplined approach to life sharpens judgment and enhances the mind's capacity to identify what is important, as opposed to what is merely urgent. Similarly, the habit of making definite decisions strengthens mental discipline. A mind that habitually avoids choice becomes weak, reactive, and vulnerable to external influence. The practice of deliberate decision-making trains the intellect, hones intuition, and builds confidence. Each decision made with clarity reinforces the mind's ability to act swiftly and effectively in future situations. Leaders do not fear making mistakes. They understand that a choice deferred is an opportunity lost. They act decisively, learn continuously, and refine their decisions over time, producing a momentum that carries them toward their ultimate purpose. Purpose and decisiveness also cultivate resilience in the face of complexity. Life rarely offers simple, straightforward paths. Obstacles, competing interests, and unforeseen events create confusion for those without clear objectives. A leader's mind, anchored by a definite purpose and guided by decisive action, navigates these complexities with composure. Each decision is made with awareness of the ultimate goal, ensuring that even amid turbulence, the journey moves forward. Clarity of purpose transforms chaos into a series of manageable challenges, and definiteness of decision provides the means to address them effectively. Leadership is not granted by title, position, or circumstance. It is forged in the quiet habits and consistent actions of the mind and character. Among the many qualities that distinguish a leader, self-discipline stands as the cornerstone. Without it, potential remains unrealized, ambition falters, and effort becomes scattered. Leaders understand that every thought, every action, and every choice contributes to the trajectory of their life. They resist the seductive allure of convenience, comfort, and short-term gratification because they recognize that the mind and body respond to the direction of deliberate effort. Discipline is not merely about restriction or denial. It is the deliberate alignment of daily habits with a vision of what one intends to achieve. It is the act of taking control of one's impulses, emotions, and routines, transforming energy that would otherwise dissipate into focused momentum that produces tangible results. Initiative complements self-discipline, forming a duo that separates those who lead from those who merely follow. A follower waits for instructions, guidance, or permission. A leader acts without waiting, seizing opportunities, addressing challenges, and anticipating needs before they become problems. Initiative is a proactive energy that refuses to be paralyzed by fear or uncertainty. It is the habit of doing what must be done, not what is easy or convenient. The leader who exercises initiative sees gaps in processes, inefficiencies in systems, and opportunities to create value, and they act upon them immediately. This combination of disciplined preparation and courageous action produces results that those who rely solely on direction can never achieve. Self-discipline also creates mental clarity and stability. The world is filled with distractions, competing priorities, and constant temptations to divert attention from what truly matters. Without discipline, the mind is fragmented, reacting impulsively to every external stimulus. Leaders, however, cultivate the ability to focus, to prioritize, and to execute consistently over time. They understand that greatness is not the product of sporadic bursts of effort, but the accumulation of deliberate, purposeful action repeated day after day. Discipline allows them to maintain consistency, to build momentum, and to weather setbacks without losing sight of their ultimate objectives. It fosters resilience because the disciplined mind has already trained itself to endure discomfort, delay gratification, and persist when obstacles arise. Initiative amplifies the effect of discipline by transforming preparedness into action. It is not enough to have self-control and consistent habits if one does not also have the courage to act independently and decisively. Initiative demands courage because it places the individual in positions where outcomes are uncertain and where effort may not immediately yield reward. Yet it is precisely in these moments that leaders distinguish themselves. While others hesitate, a person of initiative steps forward, learns through action, and converts potential into accomplishment. Initiative is also contagious. When a leader takes responsibility and acts decisively, it inspires confidence, motivates teams, and sets a standard for others to follow. Followers observe, adapt, and are encouraged to take ownership, multiplying the effect of a single person's proactive behavior. Leaders also recognize that self-discipline and initiative are interdependent. Discipline without initiative leads to stagnation. The individual is prepared but does not act. Initiative without discipline leads to chaos. The individual acts but without consistency or strategic direction. True leadership emerges when preparation, focus, and habit meet courage, energy, and the willingness to engage. It is the alignment of thought and action that produces extraordinary results. Leaders develop routines, manage time with precision, and continuously refine skills. all while seeking ways to contribute, innovate, and respond effectively in real time. Their daily actions are to lead great steps that move them toward objectives that are clear and compelling. Moreover, self-discipline and initiative cultivate self-reliance. Leaders do not rely on others to direct their path. They take responsibility for their success, understanding that the quality of their life is determined by the quality of their habits and the decisiveness of their actions. They understand that external circumstances, while influential, do not dictate destiny. Through disciplined thought and decisive initiative, they create conditions that maximize opportunity, influence outcomes, and attract the cooperation of others. Leadership, therefore, is not merely about authority. It is the consistent practice of taking control of one's mind, habits, and actions to achieve a purpose greater than oneself. The consistent exercise of self-discipline and initiative also transforms character. Leaders become known not only for what they accomplish, but for how they respond under pressure, how they approach challenges, and how they navigate uncertainty. Discipline shapes reliability, patience, and endurance. Initiative shapes creativity, courage, and responsiveness. Together, they produce a person whose influence extends far beyond immediate circumstances, whose presence motivates, and whose actions set the course for others to follow. At the core of every great leader lies an unshakable belief in oneself, a conviction that no matter the circumstances, obstacles, or opposition, they possess the capacity to achieve what they set out to accomplish. This belief is not mere arrogance or blind confidence. It is a deep, reasoned faith in one's abilities, judgment, and potential to grow. Leaders understand that self-doubt is the enemy of progress. Every hesitation, every second spent questioning one's capability, allows opportunities to slip away, diminishes momentum, and invites external influences to shape decisions in ways that may not align with true purpose. By cultivating belief in themselves, leaders create a mental framework in which challenges are no longer intimidating, risks are measured rather than feared, and obstacles become catalysts for innovation rather than barriers to achievement. Belief in oneself is intrinsically linked to action. A leader who doubts cannot act decisively, cannot take the initiative, and cannot inspire others to follow. Confidence fuels courage, and courage fuels persistence. Even in the face of repeated setbacks, the leader who believes in their vision remains committed. They understand that no great accomplishment comes without difficulty, and that temporary failures are part of the journey rather than signs of permanent defeat. This mindset transforms adversity into a teacher. Every failure, every rejection, every unexpected complication becomes an opportunity to learn, refine strategy, and strengthen resolve. Leaders do not view challenges as reasons to quit. They see them as evidence that the path they are pursuing is meaningful, that the prize is worth effort, and that persistence will eventually yield results. Persistence is the companion of self-belief, and together they form a foundation that no external circumstance can easily shake. The world is full of examples where talent alone was insufficient, intelligence alone was not enough, and opportunity alone failed to produce success. It is persistence, the unwavering continuation of effort despite difficulty, that converts potential into tangible results. Leaders understand that results are rarely immediate, and that the journey toward achievement is long, often uncertain, and filled with obstacles that test both patience and resolve. Yet the persistent leader views these tests as natural components of the process, accepting them not with resignation but with determination, and continuing forward with a steady, unwavering focus on the ultimate goal. Belief in oneself also influences how a leader perceives risk and opportunity. When a leader has confidence in their abilities, setbacks do not become deterrents but learning experiences. Failure is reframed as information. Each mistake a signal that adjustments are needed rather than proof of inadequacy. This mindset encourages experimentation, innovation, and bold action because the leader understands that every step, whether successful or not, contributes to growth and mastery. They persist not blindly but intelligently, learning with each attempt, refining strategy, and increasing the probability of ultimate success. Persistence also has a magnetic effect on those around the leader. People are inspired not merely by words, but by consistent action. A leader who demonstrates unwavering commitment, who refuses to yield in the face of difficulty, instills confidence in others, motivates teams, and generates momentum that extends far beyond individual effort. The combination of self-belief and persistence becomes a visible force, creating an atmosphere where possibility feels real, effort feels worthwhile, and challenges feel surmountable. Others are drawn to this energy, willing to follow, contribute, and persevere themselves. The cultivation of self-belief and persistence